Hey YouTube land, it's Tychondrus again doing another action figure review. Now this is for something that technically I picked up in New York City when I was over in the States, but I had to get a replacement sent out, so this is actually the replacement of the figure that I picked up. So I have to give a shout out to the great customer service at Hiya Toys. They helped me replace the figure, and I'll go into what happened with him in a second. So basically, this is from their Alien Covenant line. So Hiya Toys have done Alien Colonial Marines and Aliens from that video game. They have also done a line called Our War, which were kind of modernized, kind of desert op troops and stuff like that, from kind of like the Iraq War sort of style, um, modern day soldiers type thing. They did a bit of World War II stuff in the line of Germans. I think they might have done Allied stuff as well. I can't remember. And they're also currently doing, what's the name of the game? It's the DC one with, is it all the characters? Injustice 2. They're doing figures for that. So I'll try and put a link to their website um, in the description below, so you can check out the stuff that they do. They have some amazing sculpts. I think one of their more recent figures they released is the Swamp Thing figure, which looks really cool. I wasn't a big fan of the Injustice figures. Not that I didn't like the sculpts, I couldn't get into another DC style 4-inch scale line, and I kind of just left it. I just preferred to collect the aliens. They also do Predator as well. Um, they've done a couple of Predators from Predator 2, and most recently, at the time of this recording, they showcased some of the Predators from Predators, which is the Berserker and Falconer. They didn't have Tracker, but I'm hoping what they're going to do with Tracker is similar to what Hot Toys did with their version, and have them packed with a couple of the Hounds. So kind of a deluxe set, almost type thing. That's getting off track. Back to the figure in hand. So, um, the figure that I got is this one. This is the one I picked up in the States. When I got him, I didn't realize it at the time, because when he's packed, they're packed that way in the box, and this peg on his leg wasn't fitting into his knee joint properly. So when you'd bend the knee, you could see the peg sticking out. So I tried to fix it myself. So I had to pop the entire peg out, and I had to push like a metal pin through it, but it's not the best fix. So I got on to the people at Hiya Toys, and they sent me a replacement one, which I'm very grateful for. I know I have basically two versions of this guy, so I have a backup of spare parts for the good one, should anything happen to this one. So because the leg on this is very wobbly since I did the replacement. So I did pick up the Neomorph, and this is the Xenomorph from the set. They only did the two figures, which are the two main aliens that you see in the movie. If you haven't seen the movie, I do recommend checking it out. It's not the best alien movie, but it's better than Prometheus, and it was kind of a sequel to Prometheus. So here's the box. You have an image of the Xenomorph on the front cover, very similar to how NECA did their version of the box. So it's the kind of grey cell artwork of the Xenomorph. Images of the figure just doing a few poses, legally stuff, Alien, Xenomorph, Exquisite Mini, the Alien Covenant logos. Covenant is so tiny on it you can barely see it, but it does say Alien Covenant, and it comes with a set of interchangeable hands, and then it also comes with this base plate, this isn't the one that it came with identically. It's very similar to it. I think the one that it came with had a slight bit more reddish tint to the inner part of it. Fortunately, I can't find where I put it, but it's still the same sculpt as the ones that come with the Colonial Marines. This is one of the ones from the Colonial Marines, which I grabbed out of one of the boxes that I had lying around. But it does come with sort of more outstretched hands, and they are on a peg system. I don't really want to swap out the hands on the peg system. I'm very wary, because it is such a thin sculpt on the wrists that I'm afraid that the peg would snap off. I do recommend, if you are intending to swap out the hands, to heat them up before you even consider swapping them out, because it is a very, very thin peg, and I'm just afraid of it snapping at the ball joint. I mean, that's nothing to do with hiya toys themselves. It's because of the design of the alien. If they put in thicker hands, it wouldn't be screen accurate as it is. So it is a very thin, very gangly sculpt. It doesn't have any peg holes, but I think what they did, and it's a very hidden, is the front 2 feet are actually slightly wider than they should need to be, and they should fit just, one of them should just fit around the peg hole, or the peg on the base plate. So you might need to angle it a slight bit, but you can kind of push it between it. And if I can get it to stand, bear with me a moment, try and angle the camera down. The legs are very, because there's double knee joints and another joint down here at the ankle and a hinge at the foot, it does make it a little bit hard to stand at times, so you have to kind of get it into that sweet spot for it to actually stand up. So bear with me a moment, let me see if I can do it. Probably doesn't want to do it on camera. Probably the minute I turn off the camera it will do it. There we go. So if I just angle my camera down, sorry if my arms are in the way, you can get it to slightly stand, like most slight tap and it will be over. So I do recommend, if you do intend to use the stand, maybe put a little bit of blue tack, or I think it's called poster tack in the States, to use a tiny bit of that on the figure, just on the base here, just to hold it in place. But it does stand up. Again, it does stand on its own if you get into that sweet spot without it crashing over. You can get it to stand without any, support. But again, because of the design of the figure, it's far more thinner than the previous aliens that they did. So the proportions are correct to the way it looked in the film. It's just because of the design, overall creature design, it's really weird and spindly. So it does tend to fall over and flop over a bit. So articulation wise, it has a bendy tail, much like the NECA and much like the other aliens that they did. It has a swivel in the shoulder now. Because of this bone piece that comes out, it pushes the arm out when you swivel it around, but you can do a 360. It just knocks the arm out. It has a hinge to bring the arm up that much. It does have a hinge in the elbow, so you can move the elbow. Again, I would stress, be careful with them. They are very thin joints. As I said, swivel in the wrist. Upper diaphragm as a double head joint, or neck joint. So there's a joint at the base of the neck and a base at the head, or base of the head. So you can angle down, you can angle up. Has side to side. The pipes do tend to get in a slight bit of the way when moving the head, but you can usually move it around it. You can 360 the head on the bottom joint if you want. You can't really do it on the top joint. You have a diaphragm forward and back. You have 360 on the legs, but again it hinges out. Oh, sorry, they're on a peg, so it does hinge out. You have an upper swivel just at the thigh. In fact, if I pop the leg off again, you can see it's that piece is where the swivel is. And then you have those dual knee joints. So there's one just hidden here. You can see the visible joint here, and then you have another joint at the ankle and a foot one as well. So it's quite jointed. I will stress that possibly over time they could loosen up, so just keep an eye on that. The head sculpt is awesome. It does have the mouth. Now it's very tough to get on this one. I might be able to do it on the other one. They're very tough to get the little extendable mouthpiece out. In fact, I don't think I can do it on this one as well, because I pushed it back in too much. But it does work. It's just really tiny. You need it like a pinchers or pliers, or not pliers, but tweezers, just to pull that out. So it is there. It's just really hard to do it. It does extend. It's not the biggest of extension, but it can do it. So just for scale comparison, I will grab the measuring tape, if we can get them to stand. Measuring tape from the base is just about 4.5 inches, so it is kind of tall. So because I have them handy, and hopefully he will stand, or it will stand, here is the drone from the previous line. This is the Aliens Colonial Marines line that they did. So it is a little bit taller. You can see the proportions are way skinnier. Here is a way older Hot Toys alien, the Xenomorph, from their Snap Kit, Snap Fit kits. Sorry, tongue tied there. And then I don't have any of the hiya marines on hand at the moment, but here is one of the Hot Toys ones. Again, this was in a Snap Fit kit. It was basically in an alien egg, and you put them together, but they're super fragile. Uh, they go for crazy money as well. These particular ones, they're a bit more screen accurate to the uniforms that they wore in the movie, but they go for incredible prices. The individual figures can set you back anywhere between $50 to $100. The full set, I think there was 12 figures in the set. There was several aliens and 3 marines plus Ripley. Sorry, well, there's 3 marines and Ripley, so there was 4 human characters and the rest were all aliens. Those sets go for 300 to 400 quid in total, so they're quite expensive. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video review. It's a really good figure. I do recommend picking him up. I will try and review the other figure that from this line if I get a chance. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed this review, and as I say in my reviews, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe to my channel. Cheers, guys.